personally, I think that I and E, introvert versus extrovert, is connected in the other letters. In a way, thinking versus feeling is really about the introvert versus the extrovert, because thinking from within versus feeling from other people is like the difference between an introvert and an extrovert. Kind of like how perceiving what you want versus judging based on what other people want is also an I versus E paradigm. And even with sensing and intuition, if you're sensing from what's around you versus using inner knowledge, you could argue that is also introvert versus extrovert. Therefore, everything has to do with you versus other people. Again, whether or not you get energy from other people, you get ideas from other people. These are all introvert versus extrovert lines or spectrums, each of them relating to this idea. Which is why I know somebody who, for the first letter is E, for the third letter is F. He is an ENFP. This person is very good at connecting to people for those two aspects, other than when it comes to certain modes of behavior which come from NNP. Somebody who I know who is an ESFP, they're even more sociable because they have that three extrovertive elements as opposed to only just that one introvertive one. And that's why the most antisocial people you could theorize could in fact, I don't know, you could say it's INTP, you could say it's it could be a variety of personalities, but you could theorize that the one with the most introvertive traits is one like an INTP, while an ENTP only has 3 antisocial traits. Ooh, that's not good for me. But in a way, they all bounce off of each other and affect a person as a whole. Theoretically, the most sociable person, based on what I'm saying and only taking all of what I've said into consideration, is an ESFJ. And maybe after some research I could do after this video, I could even prove that they are all of this. Although there could be other things related to it that I have not mentioned here. However, in this theory, mixed people have contradicting personalities, kind of like how an INFP doesn't want to ever be the center of attention, but at the same time has good skills when it comes to communicating to people. Another example could be somebody who is introverted in one aspect like I, but then for the other aspects is the opposite, where they're an ISFJ. Well, let's just say they're an ISTJ, where they're good at communicating, but they don't want to be famous just for the sake of being famous. Like somebody who is an actor but would rather be something else, that's sort of the personality of one. But at the same time, there can be many contradictions if you have these mixed traits, which is why some people have certain faulty personalities and certain things that they would need to work on to not have strong mental contradictions. People who don't either end up being the most overly good at socializing type of people or incredibly antisocial people, but due to the spectrum, most people aren't actually on either side. Most people end up in some mix between the introvert and the extrovert line due to powers that they have. It's like having more than one power and having the powers affect each other from within. There's many things going on, and they're all happening at the same time, so it's like a formula, and in some cases it could be the best formula ever or the most disastrous ones. And that is basically how all of these things connect, and they're connected through an introvert versus extrovert line. And to conclude it, because I am an ENTP, I'm introverted in terms of how I perceive things, but I am extrovertive in terms of my intuition, which means that I'm being introvertive in one half and extrovertive in another.